GypLyner Universal is a cost-effective, virtually independent, metal-framed wall lining system. It is used for lining walls in either new build or, more commonly, renovation work, as will be demonstrated in this video shortly. Before we get started, let's take a look at the components and accessories used in the range. Gypframe GL1 is the main upright lining channel. This GL1 is supported by either GL2 or GL9 brackets, depending on the standoff required for the lining system. The GL2 or GL9 brackets are fixed in place with a Gypframe GL11 GypLyner anchor. Gypframe GL3 channel connectors are used to extend the length of the GL1 section as required. Gypframe GL8 track is used on floors, ceilings, internal angles, and is used to form the head and sill to door and window openings. Gypframe GFT1 fixing bar is used to support board end joints where the floor-to-ceiling height is greater than the board length being used. Gypframe 99 FC50 fixing channel is used to fix medium-weight fixtures to wall linings, with proprietary fixings being used. Gypframe service support plates are an alternative method of providing fixings. They are used in conjunction with 18mm plywood. Gyproc waferhead screws are used for metal-to-metal fixings, and Gyproc drywall screws are used to fix Thermaline or Gyproc plasterboards onto the GypLyner Universal system. There is a range of Gyproc Thermaline boards which can be used. They are Gyproc Thermaline Basic, Plus, Super and PIR. When skirting boards are removed, very often the plaster will not continue down to the floor surface, and there will be gaps between the floorboards and masonry wall. When this occurs, it is important to fill the void with thistle undercoat plaster to minimise any air leakage when the new lining system is installed. Ensure all surfaces have been isolated by a competent tradesperson to enable works to start. Using a straight edge and level, we need to determine the standoff from the wall, either from the high point or taking into account any surfaces which may be located in the lining system. Mark plumb positions at both ends of the wall. Mark the floor and ceiling with a chalk line to indicate the position of the Gypframe GL8 track. Fix the Gypframe GL8 track to the perimeters with the longer leg to the room side of the lining using appropriate fixings at 600mm centres. Mark vertical lines on the wall at 600mm centres to indicate the position of the GL1 lining channels and bracket fixing centres. Mark horizontal lines at 800mm centres to determine the individual bracket position, or use a chalk line to help mark the positions. Using a hammer drill with a 5.5mm masonry drill bit, drill the holes in the marked positions. Position each bracket with the ribs to the wall and fix through the bracket slot into the background using a Gypframe GL11 GypLyner anchor, which is a hammer fixing. Continue to install the rest of the brackets. When you have cut the GL1 to length, either round off the end with tin snips or knock the small flange back into position with a hammer. To install the GL1 section, apply pressure against the front leg of the GL8 track, pulling the section towards you. This will now allow engagement as you slide the GL1 into position. Make sure you cut Gypframe GL1 lining channels to a good fit within the Gypframe GL8 track. Additional Gypframe GL1 channel sections are required at openings and internal and external angles to accommodate board fixing. We are now ready to fix the GL2 or GL9 brackets to the GL1 lining channels. Bend the bracket legs forward and fix each leg to the channel using a Gyproc waferhead screw. Insert the screw through the hole in the bracket nearest to the back of the GL1 lining channel. Make sure you do not put any backwards or forwards pressure on the channel when you are screw fixing the brackets into position. If you do, a straight and true lining surface may not be achieved. Make sure you use the correct fixing for the brackets. Gyproc drywall screws are not designed for metal-to-metal fixing due to the bugle head of the fixing. The correct fixing is a Gyproc waferhead screw, which are designed for metal-to-metal fixings. Bend back any protruding bracket legs so they sit clear of the channel face. At internal angles, bend one bracket leg across the face of the GL1 lining channel and fix with a Gyproc waferhead drywall screw to secure the channel at the corner position. To form the head and sillet openings, cut a piece of GL8 track 150 mm wider than the opening, either side. Hold in position and mark the track. Cut the track on either side and cloak over the GL1 lining channel at the opening. And secure with 2 Gyproc waverhead drywall screws, either side. Position short lengths of Gypframe GL1 lining channel above the opening for additional support, and to maintain appropriate support centres, and fix using 2 Gyproc waferhead drywall screws. Measure the height of the Gyproc thermaline board required. Mark the board and cut using a saw. At window and doorway openings and external corners, the Gyproc thermaline board will need to be rebaited to remove the insulation, in order to maintain a plasterboard line to the surface. Gyproc thermaline boards are screw-fixed to Gypframe GL1 lining channels at 300 mm centres. At window and doorway openings, it is important to return the thermal board into the reveals to reduce thermal bridging around openings. Gyproc sealant will be used as the adhesive to fix the thermaline board in place. At reveals and external angles, Gyproc thermaline boards are fixed at 200 mm centres. Ensure that linings are sealed at internal corners and around openings to reduce air leakage from the lining system. Services, for example electrical sockets, may require plywood pattracing to provide a fixing for metal back boxes. Continue to install the Gyproc thermaline boards. Job done! Your lining system is now complete and ready for plastering or jointing.